Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of Rapid Recap here at Inside Nebraska. He's Greg Smith and I'm Zack Carpenter, and we're coming to you from Memorial Stadium, where the Huskers will host for the first time this season Northern Illinois, 6 p.m. Central on BTN, FS1.
Man, you see,
I just wrote it like 3 times today.
I have no idea. I'm so used to saying big noon kickoff.
We'll get IT. We'll get IT on it, but
yeah, my bad.
all the TV channels and kickoff times are all kind of running through my head. It's been a hectic week, hectic start to the season for Nebraska. 0-2, 2 massively disappointing losses in very differing ways. One heartbreaking, one just exhausting, I think, and just disappointing in Minnesota and Colorado. Today, Matt Rhule spoke. He previewed Northern Illinois in his home opener.
A little bit.
But, yeah, that was not even close to the main takeaway. It was Jeff Sims and just sort of this 0-2 start and what the status of the team is, what the status of Jeff Sims is as the quarterback of this team.
Yeah, he said that. Matt Rhule said, because they have the off day on Monday now. They've changed that. They do practice on Sundays. And Jeff Sims was limited or out on Sunday, kind of still dealing with that high ankle sprain situation, even though Matt Rhule did say that he didn't think it was a typical 6 to 8 week high ankle sprain. He thought that he has a chance to play this week. And he was pressed several times, I would say, by a number of reporters on whether or not Jeff Sims, to clarify, is still QB1. And Matt Rhule said that, yes, if Jeff Sims was 100% healthy, that he would be the guy rolling out there, but he can't really say for sure right now if he will be the guy rolling out there when they have the home opener this Saturday. But Heinrich Haarberg and Chuba Purdy both took reps today, but right now I believe he said that Haarberg is the guy if Sims cannot go.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, even if healthy, Sims, Matt Rhule said Jeff Sims is Jeff's our quarterback, but also Jeff needs to take care of the ball.
He did say that.
And so if you just read the lines, it's like, okay, Jeff Sims is the quarterback, but it looks like if you just read the quote off a piece of paper, it's a shrug. But I mean, as with any Matt Rhule press conference, I think you have to take a look at it and get the context, because he says a lot with his body language without saying it. And I think it's a pretty clear message that, Jeff, you got to stop turning the ball over. You have to be trusted to go on the field. He has 37 career turnovers now, 38 if you want to count the fumble exchange between him and Gabe Ervin in the fourth quarter.
There's debate on that, whether you count that.
Either way, a lot of turnovers, most for any player in college football in the country, and 4 interceptions, 2 lost fumbles. Nebraska has the worst turnover margin at -6 in the nation, which is 3 weeks after both Rhule and Trev Alberts on his radio show, Unprompted, talked about the need to clean up those turnovers and to win that turnover margin, because Nebraska has not done that since 2016. But with those turnovers, I keep coming back to what Deshaun Singleton said. It was the second to last week, the week before game week of Minnesota, when he was asked, what has the staff told you that you need to do to earn a starting spot or be a part of the 2 deep? And Deshaun, he's a really good press conference interview. I didn't realize it until that day, really. And he had a really good answer. In part, he said, the coaches need to trust you. You have to have their trust to put them to go out there on the field, because that's their job on the line too. And I think that's what we're going to see. I mean, Jeff Sims was Matt Rhule's guy. He brought him here, and he's still trusting him right now, but I think it's sort of like, time's running out, man. You're on your last legs.
Yeah, and it's definitely the case when you have the types of turnovers that we're talking about. It's one thing if you were to just say, like you did with the 4 interceptions. That's it. That was all you had. Okay, we can kind of
at least you're trying to make a play.
Yeah, we can make a point about that. Hey, it was one bad read here, one great play by a defender here. Oh, it was a Hail Mary, whatever, right? You can try to find ways. Man, when you drop multiple snaps, it's really hard to actually make excuses for that. And it's really actually puzzling, because it's also a situation where they say, the coaches do, that that's not what they saw kind of in spring ball and in fall camp. Though Matt Rhule did have a really interesting note about kind of that situation where Jeff didn't jump on the ball and really try to grab it. And I actually thought that explanation made sense, talking about how, in practice, when that happens, they tell Jeff to back off, presumably so he doesn't get injured and doesn't get kind of caught in the pile. But then in the game, he kind of reversed back to that. Also, you could tell he tried to pick up the ball with one hand to go make a play because the team needed a play. But they needed to just jump on that, kick a field goal, and live to fight another day. And so there's just a lot going on there. And I agree, like, he just has to cut that down. Like, if he is, in fact, the starting quarterback this week because he's healthy, then he needs to play better for this team to have a chance, especially with, and I want to definitely hammer this point home, especially with the type of football they want to play. So if you think about this, and I made this analogy a couple times off pod, if Nebraska is going to be closer to, say, Iowa and Minnesota on offense, what those teams don't do in their ground and pound ball control attacks is turn the ball over 8 times in 8 quarters. That's not what they do. If you pictured Minnesota's offense with that, it would look just like what we've been seeing from Nebraska so far, but they don't do that. They take care of the ball. They convert third downs. Nebraska not doing either of those, and that's why you see what you see. There's just a lot there with offense that they've got to get cleaned up.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but Iowa's offense was as absolutely awful as it was last year. I don't know if it was a turnover issue as much as it was a not moving the ball.
No, they just their offensive line also just wasn't as good as they normally are either.
Right.
So, yeah. And, I mean, Brian Ferentz.
Right, exactly. So, but point being, I agree with you. Like, we've talked about on a rapid recap a couple weeks ago, like, if you're going to have that style of we want sustained drives, 8, 10, 12 play drives, and finish them off with touchdowns, you got to avoid penalties and mistakes, like unforced turnovers, shooting ourselves in the foot, which is what Nebraska has been known for in the Scott Frost era.
That. Actually, I'm sorry to jump in on you. Matt Rhule, actually, remember he said that today. He goes, I don't want that to be the talk of our program, that's what we're known for. And I thought that was really interesting. And even though he said again last week that he doesn't, he deletes Twitter off his phone or whatever, he doesn't touch social media during the season, he's obviously seeing this stuff somewhere, because that is kind of the talk, to your point, of kind of college football right now. When you talk about Nebraska, it's all about these mistakes.
I mean, he must have read Inside Nebraska for my post-game coverage at Colorado, because that's pretty much what I said. And it's a new coaching staff, but a lot of the same players. And Jeff Sims is a new player, but then he comes here and has continued to not be able to take care of the ball and not be able to sustain those drives with ball security. And that's what it's kind of a get-right game against Northern Illinois, but Northern Illinois is also not necessarily a slouch. I mean, and even, I said this on the Colorado Rapid Recap, Northern Illinois and Louisiana Tech, those two should be wins, but this program is not in a position right now to think that any game is a gimme. North Dakota almost came in here and beat them last year. Georgia Southern came in here and ended the Scott Frost era.
Changed.
But the last thing to touch on is just Rhule talking about how this 0-2 start, I mean, not everyone, but it seems like pretty vast majority of the fan base is sort of hitting the panic button on this Rhule era already. And I understand the frustration. I get the anger because it looks so similar to how it's been. But, like, why lose faith all off season? Like, I don't understand the like belief, I guess, that this was going to be a 8 or 9 win team. And I know I'm exaggerating a little bit. I think Nebraska fans just want to see a team that's disciplined and doesn't make those same mistakes.
Especially when you had the
not necessarily if they're
Minnesota
not
game
that they're going to go like win 7, 8 games.
No,
but just
I think that's. I do agree with you though. I think that's where the frustration is. The frustration is, yes, it's the losses, and you want to see wins, but you want to see it not happen the exact same way, which is what, especially that Minnesota game, really was, when they really had the opportunity to win it. Especially given, I think that the vast majority of people out there, making a bowl game this year is the goal and is the thing that people would be very happy about doing, and I think that would actually put them ahead of schedule for where Matt Rhule typically is in year one with his program, and it'd be a great sign for the future of Nebraska if they make a bowl game this year. Like Matt Rhule said, though, even though they're 0-2 today, he said this, there's plenty of football left. There's no packing it in on the season. There's a lot still left to unfold.
Yeah, I'm glad I talked my way through that a little bit. Like, I take back my comment about I don't understand why the fan base is frustrated, like, from a goals and a wins perspective. I totally understand the frustration of, we just want to see a team that's disciplined and doesn't turn it over as much as they do, and I think that's totally reasonable and understandable to ask. And the money quote was Matt Rhule they're pretty much shrugging his shoulders and saying, this is what you get when you hire me. Like, it's not going to be a quick fix. It's not going to be overnight.
built on rock, is what he said. And his history, it's not as if he's saying that with no history of results. He's got a proven track record of it can be bad in the beginning, but then it will be built on a foundation to last. You got to let it play out.
Yeah, and then last thing to touch on, you wanted to talk about some of the receivers, just sort of plug the story, because I know you're working on a story about Malachi Coleman, Jalen Lloyd, and the other freshman receivers.
Yeah, one of the things that we talked to Coach Rhule and Satterfield a lot in the offseason about, hey, where are those freshmen? Where are the freshmen? Are they ready? The reason was, I think everyone could kind of see it coming, that Nebraska was going to have issues on the outside, getting separation, being able to take the top off of defense, especially after Xavier Betts left. So I kind of dove into some of the comments that he had today about Jalen Lloyd and Malachi Coleman and what they need to do to get ready. Also mentioned a couple other names like Jeremiah Charles, that's also kind of making his way up as well to try to get some playing time. But look out for that tomorrow morning. Jeremiah
Charles, kind of the forgotten man of that six-man receiver class, like the one that we don't talk about as often. So hearing his name pop up gets your antennas going. And Coleman and Lloyd have now making a move up the depth chart, listed as co-starters behind Alex Bullock at one of the receiver spots. So you could check out that depth chart at InsideNebraska.com. We've got it listed up there for free, as well as coverage from the Nebraska-Colorado game, sort of the fallout from that, and then just picking it up to preview Northern Illinois and coverage on Sims, Matt Rhule's presser today. Got it all up for you at InsideNebraska.com. Encourage you guys to like this video, subscribe to the Inside Nebraska YouTube page to get these videos dropped directly into your feed. We'll be back here Tuesday and Wednesday for player press conferences and assistant press conferences, and we'll talk to you guys then.